Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football, and you're watching the 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Show. Today, we are featuring Germie Bernard, wide receiver out of the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. With me, Vincent Turner, our co-host and founder, Joey Clinkscale also, and I'm Harper LeBel saying thank you. Welcome to the show. Germie Bernard is one of the top wide receivers, and we're going to talk a little bit about him in a second. But whether you want to beef up, tone up, or shape up, you may want to visit Shane at Atlanta Fitness 24/7. We want to thank Atlanta Fitness 24/7, all in the state of Georgia, not too far from where you will find a local branch that will help take care of you and your fitness needs. We appreciate them, Atlanta Fitness 24/7. Thank you for helping out with the show. Gentlemen, today we are going to talk a little bit about a 6'1", 205, 206-pound wide receiver who tested really well at the combine. He's from Las Vegas, Nevada. And Vincent, we'll start with you. Jamie's really one of those guys that has come on strong. Had a great high school career. He was a four-star player out of Las Vegas, Liberty High. Ends up going to a couple of different schools. Ends up going to Michigan State. He goes to Washington. He finds his way at Alabama. And every year he gets a little bit better, and he has his breakout here at final season, senior season here in Tuscaloosa. Vincent, what impresses you most about Germie?
You hit it dead on the button, Harper. And all we heard about was Roma Doozy, Jalen Polk, Jalen McMillan, and he was kind of like the fourth guy, but we already know he was a good football player. Then he goes to Alabama. All we heard in the first year he was there, Ryan Williams, Ryan Williams, Ryan Williams. But in the second year, can we all agree he was the best player on the field offensively for Alabama this season? 6'1", 204 pounds. I love the skill set. Excellent route runner. Got reliable hands. Most of all, he's very savvy after the catch. He was able to move the chains this year. And that's the reason Ty Simpson had a good first half of the season. Then you think about his consistency. He's played 53 games in 4 different places, but 155 receptions, 2,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. He's almost averaged 13 yards a catch. And he's added another 184 yards rushing in his career on 5 touchdowns. He's got excellent football IQ. And you know what? I think he's going to be a gentleman at the receiver spot. It's going to be a very safe pick. I see him going in the second round. I love him because I'm going to say it one more time. When you look at Alabama offensively last year, to me, he was their best offensive player, not Ryan Williams. Back to you, Hart.
Well, one of those guys that he really tested well, Joey, if you don't mind me saying so, at the combine. He may not have won, but he is really close to being one of those guys, in my opinion, that moved himself in a position where he could be higher ranked and seen by more because he was able to be right there with the top stars that you were thinking of in terms of recruiting for this year. What do you see on film that kind of confirms and allows you to go, you know what? He not only tested well, but he plays fast on the field, and it's evidenced in, now fill in the blank.
Well, I thought I got confused. Jeremy, I thought he did a lot of good things on tape. I mean, he is really a really good athlete, a really smooth athlete when you watch him. He's a good route runner. He's able to sink and bend, get in and out of his routes quickly. I like his football acumen, his football smarts. I like the fact that he can line up in a variety of positions. They line him up in the backfield sometime. They line him up at X, at Z. They move him. So the variety of positions that you can line him up in tells you a little bit about his football acumen. He's really fluid with the ball in his hands, both as a rusher and as a receiver. He's a willing blocker. He's not great. That's something he can get better at. I wish I saw him be more, and the word I'm going to use is explosive. I think he's, and maybe some of that is you don't see the twitchiness because he's so fluid. And sometimes those things can get misconstrued a little bit. But he is a player that is really smooth, not great top-end speed. I think he ran 4.48 at Indy, which is good speed. 4.48 is not going to scare anybody in today's football. He doesn't take the top off in a one-on-one situation, but he does have really good hands. And again, just as in this photo here, you can see him catch the ball away from his body. You see all those traits that will make him a really good receiver. The thing I really like about him is watching him. He reminded me a little bit of a guy that went in the first round from Alabama named Calvin Ridley. He reminded me a lot of him because Calvin was a really smooth receiver. Calvin ran a little faster, but Calvin didn't play any faster. So they both have kind of deceptive speed. Watching Calvin, you never thought he was going to be able to take the top off, just like this guy. You don't think he's going to be able to take the top off of defense, but he is really good with the ball in his hands. He separates in short areas really well. He can play with his size. He didn't have a ton of opportunity to catch the 50-50 balls, but I feel like the athlete he is and the ball concentration that he shows that he should be able to catch more than his share of 50-50 balls.
Joe, I'm going to interrupt real quick. You mentioned Calvin Ridley. When I saw him his rookie year in Atlanta, one of the things that impressed me, it wasn't his top end speed, but it was his ability to separate because he ran great corner post routes. He ran great post routes. He ran dig routes that make you think you're going to the outside. His double moves created space. It wasn't because of his speed. It's because he planted his foot and made you think that he was going somewhere else and allowed that separation. Do you see some of that with Germie?
I think that potentially this guy can do all of that. Yes, because I think he's a smooth enough athlete. I think his hips are fluid enough that he can sink and bend and get in and out of cuts quickly. I think he has really good feet. I'm not sure how quick he is. So when guys are pressing him in his face, I'm not sure of his great lateral quickness, but that'll all show up in the drills. But the things you really like about him now, I mean, his 3-cone is 6.71, which is pretty good. His short shuttle is 4.31. Now the short shuttle is something you like to see quicker than that. Okay, so that tells you a little bit about his quickness. You would like that to be a little bit better. But as an athlete, you can see all the traits that you like in a really good athlete. Now the vertical jump is not great. But the broad jump is pretty good at 10.5. The vertical jump is just 32.5, and that's for a wide receiver. That's probably on the adequate to average area.
Yeah.
But
there are a lot of guys that love to have a 32-inch vertical, but not if you're playing wide receiver, trying out for an NFL team, right?
Correct. So, but again, this is a really good football player. At the end of the day, after all the numbers are in, you're looking at a really good football player, and this guy can play football, and he's been productive everywhere he's been at every stop. And kind of like Vincent said, I do think this guy will, as long as his character checks out, will be somewhere around the second round.
Vincent, productivity is something Joey just talked a little bit about. 7 receptions as a freshman at Michigan State. At Washington, he had 34. And at Alabama, he had 50 and then 64. He was a finalist for the Biletnikoff Award here, a semifinalist, excuse me. He didn't get all the way, but in my opinion, the trajectory is going in the right direction for our fans that are watching. You know, lower, better, a little bit better. By the time he's a junior, by the time he's a senior, when he's about to get drafted, he is on the rise. Is that something that impressed you?
No question about it. Like I just mentioned, he was at the University of Washington. They had 2 guys. One guy won the first round, another guy won the second round, another guy won the third round. All of them are playing right now in the National Football League, and he waited his time. You see he had 34 receptions at Washington. Then he comes to Alabama. Doesn't get a lot of, at the start, get a lot of, balls go his way. They was trying to feed Ryan Williams. But this past season, that's when you saw him really take his game to the next level. And let's be honest here. Without him, Alabama probably don't get to the SEC championship game. As I said before, in my opinion, he was the best player they had on the offense side of the ball and the most productive. And when I think about Mr. Bernard, I think about a player that he really mirrors to me as I give it back to you, Harper. Remember Jarvis Landry at LSU was opposite of Odell Beckham? When he came into the league, we didn't think he was going to have an outstanding career. A guy that didn't have a lot of speed, but what he did, he moved the chains. What he did, he was an excellent route runner and put up some outstanding numbers and got paid. I see Germie Bernard in that same realm, in my opinion. But what you're going to get a very good football player that's very mature. And then another thing I want to bring up, He was a very good basketball player in high school. Point guard, leadership, roll tide, baby. Leonard Skinner in the house. Back to you, Hawk.
Well, I love the basketball analogy. And Joey, if you don't mind, I think the maturity level here, he is very young in his career. He's a sophomore, technically, redshirt, and then he's playing for a national championship. Then he goes with Caleb DeBoer to Alabama and kind of brings a little bit of that expertise and wisdom. I'm trusting that, and he got better, right? He had 110 catches there in his 2 years at Alabama. What portion of that carries over to where he's a little bit more pro ready, plug and play ready, because he's been in some big games and obviously has some experience that other players don't? I think he has the ability to turn that switch on, whether it be in training camp or in a preseason game, and really make an impression on some people.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to say he's going to be more pro ready than some of the other guys, because I think he's going to be probably a second to third round player. But I do like the fact that he's played in a couple systems. He's been productive in a couple systems, which tells you he probably learns pretty good. And the fact that he has good hands. I heard the comparison that Vincent made. I'm not really there with that comparison, and I'll tell you why. Because Jarvis Landry had really good hands. They're probably similar size. Jarvis might have been a little shorter than this kid, but the thing Jarvis was, and in the most complimentary way, Jarvis was a freaking dog. And what I mean by that is he would dig you out as a blocker. He would knock your block off. He would win all the 50-50 balls for a guy his size. He was as tough as nails. I mean, so I'm guys like him, and it was another kid that played in Detroit that went to Florida State. I can't think of his name, who came there as a quarterback, who ended up being one of their all-time leading receivers. That's rare air. When you talk about those two guys, I'm hesitant to put guys in that category, because I know the kind of dog in a good way that those guys were. Those comparisons scare me. But again, I think this guy for me is a poor man's Calvin Ridley, because I think he has the skill set to be a good receiver, not great, probably never a number one receiver, probably a number two will be his ceiling. Because of some of the things I mentioned, but I think this guy would be a really good football player.
Well, for obvious reasons, he's got some work to do, right? The vertical's a little sure, you can't do your arm, your arm's your arm, but work on your shuttle and all that at the pro day. Vincent, do you think there's much more room that he needs to work on? Maybe blocking, obviously, playing in the slot versus being on the outside. Every player has something that they need to get better at. But what are some of the things that you've noticed that are, Germie's got everything that we really like him, but there's some areas where he needs to work on a couple of things before he gets into camp to give himself a real chance to not only make the lineup, but, be in the starting one.
If I had to say one thing, probably he needs to in my opinion, have a little more speed. But I'm going to pick it back on Joey. Joy, I know you got a lot of experience as a scout, but I'm telling you, Mr. Bernard is in that same realm as Mr. Landry. And when I say this, maybe some game film will show he will go out there and block, but he does similar things to Mr. Landry. But one thing you did say, Joey, Mr. Landry had that dog. Mr. Bernard had that dog. I'm going to say it one more time as I give it back to the Mr. Handsome Harper LeBel. If it wasn't been for him last year, him being the best player, in games where certain players have to have that dog, Alabama would have not got in the SEC championship game. We would not be talking about Ty Simpson as a number one pick in the first, not a number one overall pick, but a first round pick. He was all that Alabama had, from blocking, catching the ball, being productive week in and week out, especially in the Missouri game. That was a crucial game they got to have. In that Tennessee game, I'm not saying he's going to be the same Jarvis Landry, but I'm telling you, I feel like he got that dog in him. I feel like I got that spirit. I really like this football player. Back to you, Mr. Harper LeBel.
Joey, you get to respond.
No, I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, we see him in a different light from that standpoint, but he's right. This guy's a good football player. And Alabama had 4 receivers that played a lot this year. and he was actually, I think they had 5 actually. And he was at times he was the best receiver. At other times you had another young guy that was the best receiver who looked like he's a pretty good guy. And the guy from last year, Ryan Williams, he probably struggled more than all of them for a variety of reasons. And hopefully that changes, because as a freshman, I mean, you would say he was probably the second best receiver in the country behind the kid at Ohio State. And this year was, he had a complete 180. So it'll be interesting. But this guy, Germie Bernard, is a really good football player. And I don't want that to get lost in everything I'm saying, because athletically, he's a good football player. As a route runner, he's a good football player. And I think he'll grow. He's got a ceiling to grow. It's just that Jarvis Landry, the guy I saw at LSU, and then the guy I saw in the NFL is in rare air. And that's why guys like that get paid, because there's something special about him. And he's in rare air. I mean, there was a point in time where you talked about whether you take him or the other kid from LSU that went to the Giants, and there were people that would have took Landry, because Landry had that edge to him that's rare.
Yes,
just
sir.
say it's rare.
No question about it. No question.
Well, there you have it, folks. We had a look at Germie Bernard, wide receiver. He's 6'1", 206 pounds. He's out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Liberty High School there. He also played at Michigan State, and he spent a year at Washington as well before he ended up with the Crimson Tide. For Vincent Turner and Joey Clinkscales, I'm Harper LeBel saying thank you for tuning in. This has been the 2026 NFL Draft Prospect Show featuring Germie Bernard, wide receiver out of Alabama. We appreciate you watching the show. We also want to say thanks to Atlanta Fitness 24/7 for their contribution to helping us to grow, and they want to grow as a franchise as well. Go see Sean if you have any questions about beefing up, toning up, or shaping up. I'd like to say thank you for tuning in, everybody. If you like the show, please like and subscribe and tell a friend. In the meanwhile, we want to say thank you for tuning in, everybody. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your